नाजरीन, आप सबका खैर मकदम है कश्मीर लाइफ की ड्रीम बिग सीरीज में। आप जानते ही हैं, हम इस सीरीज के जरिए कुछ ऐसे स्टूडेंट से मिलते हैं जो कश्मीर से बाहर अपनी तालीम हासिल कर रहे हैं। और इसी सिलसिले में आज हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं मखनून वानी, जो कि एक शेवनिंग स्कॉलर है और ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी से अपनी तालीम हासिल कर रहे हैं। मजीद हम इनसे जानेंगे इनकी जर्नी के बारे में। मखनून, आपका खैर मकदम है कश्मीर लाइफ में।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
कश्मीर में कहाँ से है और आपकी स्कूलिंग वगैरह कहाँ हुई है?
अनंतनाग से हूँ। मेरी 10th तक की पढ़ाई इकबाल मेमोरियल इंस्टीट्यूट में हुई है। आफ्टर दैट आई मूव टू न्यू दिल्ली। आई हैव स्टडीड इन जामिया मिलिया इस्लामिया। हाई स्कूल बेसिकली वहाँ से किया मैंने।
जी।
उसके
ओके, तो
बाद
उस टाइम आपके क्या
अंडर
सब्जेक्ट 11th 12th में?
11th 12th में आई was studying humanities, political
हम्म,
science, economics, and I had a few languages as well. फिर अंडरग्रेड में आई डिड जर्नलिज्म दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से। After
ठीक है।
that, I worked for a few years and now I'm doing my master's.
शिवनिक स्कॉलरशिप जो आपको मिली है ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी में, जो आपने पढ़ा, व्हाट वाज दैट?
I did journalism. I completed my graduation in 2020. That was
जी।
around in like in the middle of the pandemic. So after
हम्म,
that, I did practice journalism for a few months, for around I think 6 or 7 months. I reported on Delhi riots of 2020. I worked with The Wire, and then it was during that period that because we were also facing internet shutdowns in Kashmir, and
हम्म,
which got me interested in how these internet shutdowns are affecting the people of Kashmir, or how it's affecting them politically, socially, economically. And I wanted to study that. But of course, we don't have any specific courses in India that can focus on internet studies and how, internet affects our lives, how it's important, or things like that. So my research interest led me to research on different courses on technology policy, internet studies, and that's how I got to know about this course in Oxford, MSc in Social Science of the Internet. Uh,
या एग्जैक्टली, वो
so
जो
that's
प्रोफाइल में मैंने देखा आपकी,
yes.
लाइक मास्टर
So
सोशल साइंस इन इंटरनेट, तो
yeah,
उस कोर्स के बारे में आई एम श्योर यू वांट टू नो मोर।
yes. So while I was like doing this research, I realized that I can research on internet shutdowns in Kashmir. And I was also doing journalism, so I realized that was during the pandemic, in fact, after the Delhi riots, that I realized that internet was also being used for hate speech. It was also being used for to abuse minorities and other marginalized groups. So I sort of understood that there's a dichotomy here. Dichotomy in the sense that on the one hand you have internet shutdowns in Kashmir, and that's how government also justifies it, that there's like internet shutdowns are important because we need to stop hate speech and misinformation. On the other hand, of course, we did have hate speech and misinformation during Delhi riots. So I wanted to understand, where does the balance lie? How can you sort of regulate internet? In what sense can you regulate it? How can you regulate the content and the internet itself? And if internet needs to be regulated at all. So that is how I moved to like this course, and that these are the questions that were in my mind while I was applying to Oxford. And I found this course. There's a very multidisciplinary course here. It talks about internet and society. Then we also have courses in research methodology. We also have courses in internet technologies and regulation. So we also study the legal effects of technology regulation. What are the legal aspects of it? And we also inspect the social aspects of it. So it's a very well thought out course in that sense. And this is just about the first term that I'm talking. There are 3 terms in Oxford. In the second term, you're sort of choosing your own electives. आप अपने courses वगैरह जो है आप खुद से select करते हो.
डिजाइन कर सकते
हाँ, so इसमें आप digital era governments, like how are governments working in the digital era? What are the दूसरा course है subversive technologies. How are like technologies used like how subversive technologies in terms of surveillance, or hacking and all those things. Then you also have specialized courses in digital interviewing if you want to do research. You have courses in internet and economics. You have courses in internet and finance. So in that sense, you can like sort of design your own course in the second term. In the third term, you have a thesis. So you have to do your own research based on whatever skills and knowledge you have gained in the first two terms. So that is the final term in.
शेवनिंग स्कॉलरशिप को
Hmm.
लाइक उसमें सेलेक्ट होना इज अ बिग टास्क फॉर स्टूडेंट्स।
Hmm.
तो आप बताइए आपने उसके लिए अप्लाई कैसे किया एंड व्हाट वाज योर स्ट्रेटजी टू गेट सिलेक्टेड?
Before I talk about the strategy, I would like to digress a little bit because it's important to digress here. I'll tell you why. Because if I directly talk about strategy, अगर मैं ऐसे बात करूं कि ये किया मैंने उसके बाद हो गया, so that would be doing injustice because there's a whole story behind it. So I'll be honest, I got into the course for the 21 session, 21-22 session, but I couldn't take up the offer because I didn't get a scholarship. I again applied in 22 for 23 session. So I applied twice.
ओके।
I got in twice, but I couldn't take up the offer because I didn't have a scholarship, right? So the acceptance rate for my course is 9%. I would say that is a very good acceptance rate. 9% seems low, but it's still better. But for scholarships, it's less than 2%, 1%. So I got into the course twice, but I couldn't take up the offer because I didn't have a scholarship. So then I applied like third time I got into the course. And then, sorry, I had deferred the offer, the second offer that I got. And then I got the scholarship. That is like the third time I applied. Now, that is not to say that everyone will face the same struggles, but this is just like one example. I know people who got in the first time, but at one point, like you can have a perfect profile, you can get an offer from one of the most best courses from the best university possible, and then you'll still not get a scholarship. So, but having said that, there are multiple scholarships, and every scholarship has like low acceptance rate, but it depends on your profile. It depends on like because there are interviews, there are essays. So it is worth a try for everyone. So for scholarships, usually there are two types of scholarships. You have internal scholarships and external scholarships. Internal scholarships, universities में जो होती है, for example, I applied to Oxford. So Oxford has some internal scholarships. Some of the best scholarships are Rhodes Scholarship. You have the Weidenfeld Hoffman Scholarship. So for those scholarships, you apply through the university portal when you're applying to the course. Then there are external scholarships. Chevening Scholarship is a UK government scholarship, government
या
sponsored scholarship. UK government also has the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. So these are external scholarships. When you apply to the course, you get an offer, you apply simultaneously to these scholarships as well. So there are essays first, and then you have an interview. So you have to qualify the essay round first, the application round where you're asked like multiple questions. There are long essays. Then you have to like enter all your work experiences, etc., etc. If they find your profile impressive enough, good enough, if you're like meeting their criterias, then you can sort of you can qualify the interview round. You go to the interview round, then you take the interviews. So yeah,
तो देखिए आपने कहा कि इट वाज नॉट लाइक फॉर द फर्स्ट टू टाइम्स यू डिड नॉट गेट द स्कॉलरशिप एंड फॉर द
yes,
थर्ड टाइम यू गॉट द स्कॉलरशिप।
yes,
सो मुझे लगता है यू विल हैव मोर एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ व्हाट टू डू एंड व्हाट नॉट टू डू।
yes.
तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा इफ यू टेल अबाउट दैट व्हाट शुड अ स्टूडेंट डू एंड व्हाट शुड नॉट अ स्टूडेंट डू।
Okay, so what you should do is understand that all scholarships have their own criterias. You being academically strong, you being an ambitious person, you having some goals is not enough to get a scholarship. So every scholarship, for example, the Chevening scholarship that I'm talking about, they have two major focuses. Three, in fact. So you have the leadership, you should be a leader, you should have networking skills, and you should have a drive to come back to your country and contribute to your community, your nation. So these are the three criterias. Now, if within the interview or in your essays, you're just focusing on your own goals, you're just focusing on your own profile, your own skills, and you're not talking about how your profile aligns with their criterias. If you're doing not doing that, if you're not talking to their criteria through your profile, then they're not going to select you, right? So you don't have to just impress them with your own profile. You also have to tell them how you would add to their cohort, how you would take their goal forward. So if you're applying to any scholarship, properly research what they're looking for, what is their criteria. Then think about your profile and try to align your profile with their criteria through your interviews, through your like you can do that in the interview and in the applications, the essays, etc.
Okay, तो देखिए जैसे you got a scholarship now you're studying in there but students को like वो एक वो जैसा होता है कि घर वाले कि नहीं there is not atmosphere is not good there are problems जो कि सुनने में आते हैं तो parents are very reluctant for allowing their children to go outside. So, what do you suggest to people? Is it worth? Obviously, it is worth going there, worth studying there. But what should a student have in mind while they apply, while they opt for studying outside?
Uh, See, if any parent is watching this interview, I would say इतने सारे लोग तो बांग्लादेश भी जा रहे हैं for medicine,
Mm,
right? You're anyway sending kids to different states in India to,
mm,
study engineering or medicine, or I mean, uski bhi acceptance rate is quite low. And if you're talking about safety, if you're talking about generally how things go about in India, or if you compare the West, if you compare UK where I am right now,
mm,
it's safer, the community is more vibrant, and it's more diverse, right? And
yeah,
acceptance rate here for these scholarships might be even slightly better than, let's say, medicine or engineering for
mm,
IITs and all, right? So we have this cliche idea that we have to go to only two fields. Let's just take, push them towards medicine or
yeah,
engineering. But there's a
definitely.
plethora of courses here. Like, there's a lot of courses, and you have good jobs within those courses. So let them explore, I'd say. You have to explore and you have to go to different fields, because two fields may not be able to offer a lot of jobs for everyone. And plus, everyone has their own aptitude. So you have to let them explore and self-actualize in that sense.
देखिए जो आपका कोर्स है इट्स वेरी डिफरेंट लाइक सोशल मास्टर्स ऑफ सोशल साइंस एंड इंटरनेट okay and I am sure there must be many other courses as well which are different like this one तो उसमें एक गाइडेंस या स्कॉलरशिप के लिए गाइडेंस फिर
Hmm.
एडमिशन को सिक्योर करने में जो गाइडेंस एक स्टूडेंट को जरूरत रहती है वेयर डिड यू गेट इट
Okay, so when I started, I did everything on my own, like
ओके
for the course research, what are the scholarship, etc. But I started on my own. I did my research, I did my basic research on my own, and then I got in touch with some students through LinkedIn, especially Samir Rashid Bhatt. He's a Rhodes Scholar. He's the first Rhodes Scholar from Kashmir. He's been in Oxford for a few years now. I contacted him. He helped me with the SOP. He told me what to include in the SOP. Like, after that, like, I also helped a few students. I was doing this like professionally as well for a year. I was in consultancy, and I generally do help a few students as well. So there are people who are helping out others. There are Kashmiris. There are other people from across India who are helping people out. In fact, there is an organization called Project Edu Access, which is led by Samir. Project Edu
ओके
Access helps students for free. It helps them with scholarships. It helps them with university applications. They have regular webinars. In fact, they have webinars every weekend, yes. So anyone who's watching this video, if you're interested in, foreign admissions, if you're interested in scholarships, if you feel you have it in you, you can just visit their website, and you can, like, they offer free mentorship. So there are plenty of resources. You can start with your own research, but there are people who are willing to help others, because me personally, I've also been helped by someone else. So this is like something I'm trying to give back as well. So there are people who can help you out if you want to.
ओके सो वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन जो स्टूडेंट्स को यहाँ पे कोर्सेज के बारे में ज़्यादा नहीं पता होता कि
Hmm.
अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्या है बाहर स्टूडेंट लेवल पे प्रोफेशनली वी माइट टॉक सम अदर टाइम बट अभी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए आपको क्या लगता है ऐसे लाइक कैन यू नेम सम कोर्सेज जो जिनका आगे जाके स्कोप बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा होता है जहाँ पे करियर स्टूडेंट्स का बहुत अच्छा बन सकता है इफ़ यू कैन नेम सम ऑफ द कोर्सेज
I mean, I would not like to name any courses as such, because every course has, its own utilities, and every course has a scope.
some courses जो different है which are not available in Kashmir
Yes.
which you think students should pursue.
I mean, it really depends what your aptitude is, what your background is. But
Hmm.
I mean, courses in technology policy, because I'm studying internet studies. So
Mm,
uh, courses in technology policy. There are mixed courses in, let's say, I mean, I cannot specifically name any courses because every course is important. But of course, I'd say on an individual level, if there's a student who has a very
mhm,
unique interest in anything like geography, economics, or something at the intersection of economics and psychology, something at the intersection of geography and economics, any unique insight, or you have a very unique way of thinking about things, right? So according to your interest, you will find a course here. You will find courses which have those modules, those papers within them. So don't think that, oh, I'm interested in this, but who's teaching it? If you're
mm.
interested in anything, there is a course for you. And you can like go to their websites, you can do your own research, and you will find a course that aligns with your research interests. Not just research interests, professional interests as well.
Okay, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us. It was really nice to talk to you, and I'm sure it will be very helpful for the students watching us. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. Thank you for having me.